there's so many agents that are in that 2, 3, 4 million a
Mhm.
year mark, and they want to get to 6 or 8 or
Yep.
10, and that's a leap that a lot of
Right.
agents are never really able to make.
Right.
How are you helping people do that?
I think the main thing is reminding them that it's a process, that it is a process. I mean, it took me a minute to make that leap personally. It took me a couple of several years to make that leap. But I think, I know this sounds so redundant, it's still the basics. Like, are you doing the basics better than anyone else? And like, what is your time map look like?
What are the basics?
Like calls, open houses, um, and um, for us, door knocking, still direct mail. We still do direct mail because at the end of the day, we're trying to hit people all of the different ways. You know, um staying on social media. Like, you don't have to have a YouTube channel. You don't have to but like, just staying relevant, being, for me, I tell my people, and also just making sure everyone in your sphere knows what you do. How often do we get so annoyed because our aunt goes, they're like, "Oh my God, I forgot you were a realtor." Why did they forget you were a realtor?
Yep.
Why? Like, anywhere I am, like, not annoyingly so, but well, some people may argue with that, but I'm talking about real estate. People, wherever I am, get my nails done. Same dye, every single. How's the real estate market, Rhonda? How are the interest rates? Right. He asks me every single time, like, I'm his go-to person for anything real estate related. And I think you have to be that person. You have to be top of mind. Jared James says visibility trumps ability. So you don't have to be the best, but people gotta know who you are and what you do. And if people aren't doing that, and I think that's consistent every single day, like every single day, and I think you have to treat it, again. I think a lot of that, those 2 million people or whatever, the people at that 2 to 3 million, they're not treating their business like a business. They're not looking at their numbers on a regular basis. Um, they're not tracking their
Hmm.
tracking their lead measures. If you want this many sales, you got to back it up. If you want this many closings, then you have to have this many transactions. If you have this many transactions, you have to have this many appointments. If you want this many appointments, you have to make this many phone calls. You have to back it all the way up every day, every day. So you have to say, if I want to close 3 deals next month, like, you got to back it up a couple months. Like, what am I doing today to make sure that in January I've got X amount of deals? And I just, people, like, again, people are, they don't go to school for business. Like, they're not treating their career like a business.
Right.
I think that's the hardest thing. So I'm just trying to help them do that, trying to help them, like, what do you want to do? This is, and then also meeting with people regularly and saying, okay, how are you doing? Are you doing better or worse than you wanted to do? So what are you not doing that you said you were going to do that we're going to get you here? This isn't what I said you needed to do. This is what you told me you were going to do.
Exactly.
Because we don't work for, they're not our employees.
Right.
So, but going back to the CP Morgan thing, I learned regular, like, very much accountability, and very much of, like, one-on-ones and meeting with people on a regular basis, and letting like, where people were, and making sure that you always knew where you were. And I think in real estate, people don't get that very much. Like, they don't, you know what I mean? They don't get
The
that.
accountability is one of the biggest
They
struggles.
don't get that. They don't.
And a lot of agents or a lot of people are in real estate because they don't want accountability.
Exactly.
And so that's a problem.
That's a big problem. Like, not wanting, and accountability isn't a punishment.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Accountability is, like, you saying, this is where I want to be, and saying that out loud to someone, so someone else knows what you want and can ask you about that. That's not a punishment. That's ownership. That's owning. I think what somebody made that quote. Accountability is not a punishment, it's ownership. I don't know who made the quote, but it's a great quote because it's just owning what you said you were going to do, and or what you said you wanted.